Good morning, students. Hope all of you are doing well. Today I'm going to start friction. Okay, so let's see the last in my last video I told you I do this worksheet, check your progress, answer the following. So today at first, before start the friction, I will discuss this question answer. Okay, so answer the following question. The first question is, what do you understand by a force? So you have to write force as a push or pull acting upon an object as a result of an interaction. And one thing I want to tell you, that here actually not mention any, write down any example or nothing is mentioned here, but you, when you write the definition, must you give the example, because without example actually definition is not complete. Okay, so that's why here I have given two examples. For example, a door has to be pushed to open it, and a box has to be pulled to lift it up. Okay, so you have to, when you write the definition, please you do write down the example. Okay, so because without example the definition doesn't mean anything. Okay, so question number 2 is the, what is the effect of force on the mass of an object? So we know that when a force is applied on an object, that object can change the direction, speed, and change the state of state of motion. So those things are changed. But when a force is applied on an object, there is no change in the mass of that object. So you have to write this. So the, what is the effect of force on the mass of an object? So when the force is applied on an object, there is no change in the mass of that object. Okay, so question number 3, give an example of a contact force. So give an example of a contact force is a muscular force or frictional force, whatever you want to say. So I have written here muscular force. If you want, you can write down frictional force also. So muscular force is an example of a contact force, because you see here already I discussed about contact forces. Frictional force, muscular force, both are contact forces. Okay, so here I am written here, I have written muscular force is an example of a contact force. If you want, you can write down frictional force. Okay, so both are correct, muscular and as well as frictional. So question number 4, give another name for non-contact forces. So non-contact force, actually we know that there is no there actually no we cannot use any physical we cannot use any physical contact. So that some of the force that do not require any physical contacts, that's why it is a non-contact force. But the another name of the non-contact force is also is action at a distance forces. Okay, so here you have to write the another name for non-contact forces are called action at a distance forces. Okay, so last question is that this check your progress. The last question is, what is the SI unit of force? So this is very important, because without unit only that magnitude doesn't mean anything. So when you write that magnitude as well as unit, that means something. Okay, so what is the SI unit of force? So that information you can use not only in class 6, you that information is required for higher classes also. So if you know that what is the SI unit of force, that will be very helpful. So the SI unit of force is Newton. So when you write Newton, some of the students, I know that the name of Isaac Newton's, that unit is recognized. So that's why some of the thing about the, because this is actually someone's name, so that's why they start with capital N. But don't write this one, because you already learned the physical quantities and measurement chapter unit. They are actually why we can use the capital letter, why we can use the small letters. So these things you have to learn properly. Otherwise, if you know that unit, but when you write down that things you written in wrong, that will be actually very bad impression. So when you write down Newton, so write, please see here how I have written here Newton, small n Newton. So okay, write down this way. But when you write that only symbol, So here this is actually the symbol. So when you write this, suppose 50 Newton, so don't write, if you do not want to write that NEUT and no Newton, the whole spelling, if you do not write, simply you can write down 50 then capital N, that will be correct, okay. But when you write this full spelling, that you write like this way, okay. So I hope you can understand. So now I will start frictional force or friction. So you have learned about the frictional force, because frictional force is a one kind of contact force. These things already you introduced the word frictional force. We experience this force in many activities in our day-to-day life. So actually we can use these things many in our day-to-day life, but we don't know what do you say. But now actually so today when I will clear this conception of friction, that will then you can easily understand where we can use the frictional force. Now you will learn more about the friction of force of friction. Frictional force or friction between two surfaces depends upon the nature. Nature means the roughness of the surface in contact with each other. So because this is a contact force, that's why there need two surfaces. So that depends on upon the nature of the surfaces in contact with each other and the weight of the moving object. So see here, the weight is also important and the surface or nature of the surfaces, okay. So these two things is depends the frictional force is depends upon two things, okay. So frictional depends upon the nature of the surfaces. What is it? So observe the surface of a wooden table or a stone with a magnifying glass. You will see that their surfaces have small irregularities in the form of grooves and ridges. When one surface attempts to slide over another, these grooves and ridges get caught with one another and cause friction, okay. This friction slows down the motion of the body, okay. So if you take one marble, and if you take the smooth floor, that if you roll that marble, that will easily roll down without any obstacle. But when you will use, if you use some sand on this floor and then you try to roll the marble, that will very much difficult, because that slows down because that sand actually get caught with one another and cause friction. This friction slows down the motion of that moving body. Here actually whatever example I am taking, that roll of that motion of that marble, okay. So different surfaces exhibit different frictional resistance to sliding. Rough surfaces offer a greater degree of friction compared to smooth surfaces. So rough surfaces always create a more friction compared to the smooth surfaces. More the roughness of a surface, greater is the friction it offers. Smooth surfaces such as glass offer less friction. So smooth surface always offers a less friction. Thus the force of friction is very large when both the surfaces in contact are much. Friction is less when one surface is smooth and another is rough, and is the least when both the surfaces is smooth. So friction will be large when two surfaces are rough, surface of contact are rough, but friction is less when one surface is supposed smooth and another one rough, and it is the least, means very much less, when both the surfaces are smooth, okay. So no surface is perfectly smooth, and therefore all surfaces offer friction to objects trying to move over them, okay. So hope all you can understand how friction depends upon the nature of the surfaces, okay. So friction is very large when both the surfaces in contact are rough. Friction is less when one surface is smooth and another one is rough, and friction is least when both the surfaces are smooth. So this is actually the basic things of the friction, how friction depends upon the nature of the surfaces, okay. Next important things is that how friction depends upon the weight of the moving object. So we have to apply more force to push a heavy box than to push a lighter one. So if I give you two boxes, suppose one is heavy box and another one is lighter one, then we have to apply more force to push a heavy box, because that weight is very much heavy compared to the lighter one. So more the weight, greater will be the friction. So means which weight is more, there actually friction will be the greater one. So when weight remains unchanged, suppose we can constant the weight, friction is independent of the area of surface in contact. Okay, when two boxes of the same weight are placed on the ground such that one is half as long and twice as high as the other one, so suppose see here that two boxes weight is same, but one is laying on like this way and another one is like this way. So see here the on the ground such that one is half as long. Half as long, you see that half as long means if you consider this is the length, so this is half of this. Okay, and twice as high as the other. See how much it is long, because we can stand this box like this way, the forces of the friction acting on them will still remain the same. So friction is independent of the area in contact. So you see here when the box is laying on the floor, how much area that box is covered, but here actually the less area is covered by the box, but we are applying the same frictional force, because the friction is independent of the area in contact when the weight remains the same, because two boxes weight remains the same. That's why the how much area they cover it, that doesn't depend, the friction does not depend on the area in contact, so it is independent when weight remains the same. So in this example you can understand more area in contact, but we are applying a same frictional force. Here also less area in contact, but we are applying a same frictional force. So when the weight is the same, friction is independent of the area of the surface. So this information is very very important. And you see here, and what is this in these two pages, what is the key concept of these two pages? The two factors that influence the magnitude of friction are the roughness of the surface in contact and the weight of the moving object. So this information is very very important. Okay, and one thing wanted, I left one of the activity 7. So you see that, hope you can understand how that ball is rolled down. So friction depends upon the nature of the surface. So if you have a ball, any plastic ball, and wooden cardboard or any seat, any smooth seat or any rough wooden surface, if you have at your home, and take a one book or two book and you please do this activity, then you can easily then you can understand betterly. Okay, so you please do this activity and let me know how it will works. Okay, so next important things in this chapter is the types of friction. So types of force already we learned: contact force, non-contact force, and there actually we learn how which one is the contact forces and which one is the non-contact forces. So here also that friction is also in different types of friction. Okay, so first one is the static friction. Friction can be divided into two types. One is static friction and another is kinetic friction. Static friction means means you can understand it cannot move. So static friction is the force of friction acting between two objects in contact while it is rest. So while it at rest, that time what kind of force of friction is acting upon two objects, that is called as actually static friction. Static friction is maximum when the applied force is just short of the force required to start motion. So at the beginning, means when that object is start in motion, that time the static friction will be maximum. Means when we are applied a force is just short of the force required to start motion, because at first the object is in rest. So when that object is get motion, or when we are applying a force to start in motion, that time the static friction is maximum. So what is kinetic friction? Kinetic friction means, kinetic means you know that what is moving, or mean motion. So kinetic friction occurs when the applied force overcomes static friction and the object starts moving. At this point, the value of friction represented as kinetic friction. So at this point, the value of friction means when the applied force overcomes the static friction. Static friction means the object cannot move. Okay, that time what type of force of friction we are applying. But when it starts in motion, so that time we can means overcome the static friction and that object starts moving. That time what type of force we are applying, that is actually called the kinetic friction. So kinetic friction is of two types. One is sliding friction and another is rolling friction. Sliding friction, when we slide an object on a surface, the friction produced between the object and the surface is called sliding friction. So when we slide an object on a surface, the friction produced between the object and the surface is called sliding friction. Since friction increases with the weight of a moving object, it is difficult to slide heavy object, because if you take a very light object, that it will be very much easy to increase friction, that slide that object. But if that friction increases and with the that weight of that object is very heavy, that time is very much difficult to slide heavy object. Okay, so rolling friction, what is rolling friction? Rolling friction, if heavy objects are made to roll over surface to move them from one place to another place. So rolling friction comes into play on hard surfaces. Rolling friction less than sliding friction. Okay, so let us perform, you see here, see this activity to verify that rolling friction is less than sliding friction. How that tie the string around the brick and attach its other end to the spring balance. Keep the brick on a table and pull the spring balance until the brick just starts to move. Note the reading on the spring balance. Now put same pencil under the brick and pull that. So if you here actually simply you put that brick on the table and try to pull that brick by using a spring balance. Here actually we put some pencil under that brick and then you write it, because that pencil acts as a roller. So that time you can check that note the reading on the spring balance again. The reading showing that spring balance is step 1 is more than the reading of in step 2, because you see here that bricks is very much heavy. That's why we have to put a more friction here, more force of friction is here. But here if you compare with these two conditions, then we can less friction in second case. Okay, means we can apply less force. So conclusion is that rolling friction is less than sliding friction. So for this activity we can understand the rolling friction is less than sliding friction. So now wheels, large suitcases, trolleys, large travel bags, heavy furniture, machines, etc. are provided with wheels. So you know that when we will travel from one place to another place, as before we are using different types of bag, but it was very much difficult to carry that. But now it is very heavy, very how much we can carry these things. The trolley bags is very helpful for us to move things from here to there without putting any more effort. Okay, so see here, wheels cut down a lot of effort requires to remove such objects. So these things just now I told you, wheels cut down the lot of effort. So without wheel you know that sometimes you know that because of that heavy load that wheels will break. So when wheels will break, how much it's difficult to move things, but wheels, if that wheel is perfect, that wheels cut down a lot of effort required to move such objects. The principle that rolling friction is less than sliding friction as is also made use of in ball bearings, such which contain steel balls or rollers. Ball bearings used between the wheel and axle of the vehicles reduce friction considerably. Most machines with having moving parts use ball bearings, so we can use the reduce of friction so by using a ball bearing and wheels and axle. So most of the machines with moving parts use ball bearings. Okay, so here actually one of that question answer is here, fill in the blanks. So this is your next day's today's homework. So next day I will discuss it at first, question answer of this part at first, and then I will start the what is the advantages of friction and what is the disadvantage of friction. So these two things you have to learn, because only we up to this actually we know what is friction, what is the type of friction, but what is the advantage. So we can use that word friction, we can use that things in our day-to-day life every time, but we don't know what is the advantage of friction. It means without friction what problem we will face, and with what is the disadvantage of friction, those things we have to learn. So next day I will discuss it. Okay, so up to this you please read it and follow this video, and you check it proper, and question answer I will give you. So you please practice it, and next day I will start these things, advantage and disadvantage of friction. Okay, thank you students, take care, bye bye.